Hey, folks. So we are live and welcome back to Brain Optimization Live stream. Today, we are talking about brain nutrition and procrastination, as you guessed from the title of this live stream. So, what I noticed working with people is most people tend to think that procrastination, our tendency to procrastinate, is more like metaphysical. It's somewhere in the ether. It's something about that, willpower muscle that you kind of either have or you don't have, or you need to work on, right? Not so many people think about procrastination in terms of our biology, in terms of our brain body chemistry, our neurobiology, how our neurons in our brain work. And definitely not so many people think about the fact that with your lifestyle and nutrition choices, you can actually affect that neurobiology. If you're a fan of Andrew Huberman, I'm definitely am, superstar neuroscientist from Stanford. So he just released a podcast episode on dopamine optimization. If you don't know what dopamine is, folks, dopamine is that molecule in our brain, it's also in our body, that is all about drive and motivation to pursue, to take actions, to release energy for action. People who tend to have higher dopamine levels, whether that's because of genetics and there is that component, or because their lifestyle nutrition choices, and I consider myself one of those people, we have lower activation energy. What it means is we have a lower threshold for action. You tell me what to do. If I understand and want to do it, like, I'm ready to go right away. I have no stopping anything, no barrier. It feels like, I'm just flowing right into action. Now, for a lot of people, especially people who tend to procrastinate, and you might be one of those people at the moment, you can change it, folks. So listen to the end of this live stream to understand one of the factors that you can start doing today to lower that threshold for action. And on the flip side, to lower your procrastination tendency. So back to neurobiology and higher dopamine levels, right? Me, from the time that I was a kid, I was always like that. Like, my sister is always like that also. We are like really easy. It is easy for us to take action. It is easier for us to take action than not to take action. People who tend to just go and seem to always want to be doing something, those people usually, again, run higher on the dopamine levels for one reason or the other. But again, there are quite a few things you can do to stay sustainably on that higher level of dopamine, of that action threshold. And again, on the flip side, being lower on procrastination tendency. Like, I personally, to be very, very honest, never could understand what procrastination actually feels like. Like, I could just never understand. Well, if you decide to do it, just do it, right? If you want to exercise, just do it. If you want to eat healthy, just do it. If you want to take a step forward in your business, just do it. If you want to take a step forward in your relationship, just do it. And, of course, sometimes you have better strategies, sometimes worse, but that like flip to staying still and jumping into action, that was always easier for me. And if you admire any entrepreneur, any action taker, they probably are on that range too. But again, there are quite a lot of things that you can do every single day to increase that base level of dopamine. And so, actually, let's get back to Andrew Huberman and his recent podcast on dopamine optimization. So, to optimize, to increase your base levels of dopamine naturally without any stimulants in a sustainable way, there are 4 things that you got to do every day. We're going to get into details on just one of them. So those 4 things are sleep, your quality, duration, timing. Then we have nutrition. And in nutrition, we're going to get into one of the very important details that a lot of you get wrong, folks, just in a moment. So nutrition, we have sleep, we have nutrition, we have light exposure, and a lot of you also screwing that up every single day. And then we have movement, right? Those 4 things your dopamine is very sensitive towards, right? So sleep, nutrition, light exposure, and movement. Now let's get into nutrition. That's what this life is all about. There is one thing that a lot of you folks are not doing well enough, and that is eating enough protein on a regular basis, the kind of protein that contains this amino acid L-tyrosine that your dopamine, the one that makes you want to go, not procrastinate, is made of. Again, I want to repeat, the limiting factor, and Andrew Huberman on his podcast briefly talks about that. The limiting factor for your dopamine production, that go, go, go molecule instead of procrastination, is the amount and how often, how regularly you do that of protein, specifically protein that is rich in L-tyrosine, that is amino acid that your dopamine is made of. The richest sources of L-tyrosine are animal-based proteins. Those are things like your chicken, your turkey, your meat, your fish. On the plant-based side, we have only tofu really. And then the rest is kind of lower and lower and lower to the point that it becomes insignificant. And so if you want to increase your drive for action and decrease your procrastination, what you got to do, breakfast, lunch, and dinner, or how many times you eat per day, you got to eat that protein, and the amount matters. So depending on your body size, it's going to be different. But I recommend always at least 30-40 grams of protein per meal. That assuming that you eat 3 meals per day. And again, usually if you are taller, if you are more active, you will require more of that protein. So the home takeaway, if you folks are not optimizing your protein, the amount and quality, what's going to happen, you're going to limit your brain's ability to produce dopamine. And when your dopamine goes down, so your procrastination goes up. I eat about 100, 120, closer to 120 everyday grams of protein, right? Breakfast, lunch, and dinner. At least usually 40 grams of protein, 40, 50. And that is one of the reasons why I never feel like I lack the drive, the motivation. So if you folks are struggling again with that procrastination, make sure that you are giving your brain what it needs to create the molecule of action, that is dopamine. And again, a specific amino acid we are looking at is L-tyrosine. So eating a cup of beans will not do that. And that's about it, folks. We're going to talk more about dopamine optimization, nutrition, and lifestyle in more details over the course, several months. Just remember, eat your protein. Usually the amount of protein you need is about 1 gram per pound of body weight, or a couple of grams per 1 kilogram of body weight. And if you have more questions and really would love to optimize your nutrition and lifestyle for the dopamine, the goal and achieve molecule, then use the link below. It's the link to schedule a call with me. And I'm also a certified nutritionist. So I'm going to tell you all about how to optimize your nutrition and lifestyle for that molecule of drive, of motivation to get things done instead of procrastinating on them. So use that link, schedule our call, and get you done. And let me finish.